Listening to RAndrewsLive, the podcast with your host, Randy Andrews. On this podcast, we're all about the music and the stories. Each episode, Randy takes different music tracks and puts them to the stories and events of our everyday lives. It's like building a soundtrack to your life and then rock out to it. But it's not just about the tunes. We also bring out guests to share their stories, and we'll give you a behind-the-scenes look into the life of a full-time entertainer. From the sold-out shows to the green rooms, we're here to take you on a wild ride. So grab your headphones and get ready to jam. Here's your host, Randy Andrews.
How's it going, everyone? It's yours truly, Randy Andrews, coming to you with another episode of RAndrewsLive, the podcast. Today, I've got the awesome host of Crushgasm podcast, Kendra Beltran. Now, Kendra realized soon after graduating college that working a typical job in an office was not going to happen. Ironic, since she has since watched The Office more times than she'd like to admit. With that, she started freelance writing and was written for and since then has started written for MTV Geek, Cartoon Brew, Apartment Therapy, and many other wonderful sites that have welcomed her pop culture insights. When she isn't writing, when she isn't writing, she's arguing with potential homebuyers on house hunters, hanging out with her fiance and fur baby, and hosting the most crushable podcast, Crushgasm, the show where guests come through to talk about a particular crush they've had in their life, whether it be fictional character from Disney or someone from back in the day in middle school. Crushgasm covers them all. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Kendra. Kendra, how's it going today?
Good. How are you? And thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I'm doing pretty good here. It's middle of winter still, and it's not looking any brighter for me. So
Let's get over this snowy hump.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So how's everything going for you out in your neck of the woods? Everything going good? Crushgasm crushing it?
Crushgasm's going so well. We're starting something new, a special thing leading up to the 100th episode. I'm going to be crushing on the 90s. So my guests, all former guests, are coming back to talk about each year of the 90s and what they loved about it. So it's going to be really, really exciting.
Nice. Bring out the millennial in all of us. I love it.
Yes.
Nice. So I'm going to jump in right away because I'm just curious. We kind of talked a little bit behind the scenes with Crushgasm. With the pandemic hit, you thought, hey, we're going to talk a little pop culture. We're going to do this. And you've kind of jumped into it. So what was kind of your inspiration, your direction, decided to go with that?
Well, yeah, like you said, during the pandemic, so many people started podcasts, me included. I just miss talking to people that just weren't in my apartment. And
Right.
Also, I had been interviewing musicians as a freelance writer for years. So I thought, why not pair the two things? And I really miss like my wine nights with my friends and talking about who was cute and everything. And I mean, I live for a slumber party. So that's kind of how it snowballed.
Right. I love it. Nice. Yeah, so let us know a little bit about Crushgasm. We're going to plug it right here at the beginning of the podcast because I love the concept of it. There's too often we'll sit around, even us guys, more so than we probably like to admit. We'll sit around, we'll talk about our glory days in high school and who we had a crush on. Like, oh, did you remember her? She had a thing for you. Like, no, I didn't think she did. But yeah, we'll still reminisce on that. Let's rank the top 5 best girlfriends from 90s sitcoms. Like, we still do that stuff too. So yeah, lay it out there for us.
Yeah, Crushgasm, it's just like that. I mean, it's one of those things that everyone has in common, whether you've crushed on, I always say crushes aren't romantic, always, you can crush on an album, you can crush on a TV show. Most of the crushes, though, have been romantical that have come through. I'm hoping we branch out soon. But yeah, it's just something that we can all talk about. Like you said, you sit around with your friends. It's just something that brings you together, because who hasn't, had hearts in their eyes over someone?
Right. So I'm gonna throw this out there for you because I have kind of a weird crush on Dolly Parton. That's so much
weird.
Well, it's not so much. It's more her brand. So her music's pretty good. It's kind of timeless, but her brand and everything she's kind of come around with, and like she's doing, She was recently inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it's funny because when you said crushing on an album, she came out with a brand new song with Cheat Codes. It's a couple of DJs that she's in it, but she's like, you don't notice until it hits the chorus. And then she's like a background singer, but like it's Cheat Codes and Dolly Parton. It's not featuring, it's Ann. But you know, her brand though, I went to Branson this last year with my family, and I don't know if you've ever been, but she has this thing down in Branson. It's the Dolly Parton Stampede. And it's kind of like medieval times. It's like the Old West. Like it's a horse show, and they bring out all this food from like the Civil War era, like a Cornish hen. But they don't give you silverware. Like,
very medieval times.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton's not a weird one at all. I feel like I think everyone, it's kind of one of those, I would call that like an icon crush.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's how I categorize it.
Yeah. What about you? You got any icon crushes that just kind of come to mind off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, an icon. I love Mariah Carey. I consider her an icon.
Yeah.
Is timeless, doesn't really go away. So she would definitely be my icon crush. I've loved her since the 3rd grade. So
okay.
Mariah Carey.
Yep. I like Mariah in her older days. You know, when she like the 90s, early 2000s. How was it? Glitter? I think it was a movie that came out. And
yeah, it was a dark time.
Yeah, it was like right before all that was great, and then Glitter has like, easy, Mariah.
She bounced back with Precious.
Yeah.
Low.
Yep. So I'm gonna make you think on the top of your head again, because I want to say, all right, for whatever reason, Mariah Carey reaches out to you, and she comes on Crushgasm. You guys kind of have a great conversation, and she says, "Hey, you want to come hang out with us? I've got a wine night with some girls." Okay. So what I want you to do, this is gonna be a fun one for me. I want you to pick three celebrity icons, or it doesn't have to be celebrities, just 3 icons or 3 celeb crushes you might have, kind of in that same realm for a wine night with some girls that you can go hang out with. And what song would you be listening to as you drive over to the said location to kind of like pump up and get yourself in that right mindset for the night, just having fun with the girls?
If I had to go over with Mariah Carey, I would probably be listening to a Mariah Carey song.
Okay.
And it would have to be from the Rainbow album.
Yep.
I would say the Heartbreaker remix with DeBrat and Snoop Dogg is very, very good.
Nice.
The original is fantastic, but I love the remix as well.
Nice. Awesome. So what we're going to do right now, in case people are unfamiliar with Mariah Carey, first off, she's been around for a while, so let's climb out of that rock. But secondly, we're going to let you guys get a little introduction to Mariah Carey here. We're going to play Heartbreaker remix with DeBrat and Snoop Dogg, and it's going to come on if you're on Spotify. Just go ahead and sit back and listen. If you are listening on YouTube, I got to make you click that button below in the description if you want to hear it. So take a listen to it. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. That was Mariah Carey you guys just listened to, and we are here with Kendra on our podcast, talking about her podcast, Crushgasms, and we were kind of talking a little bit here, little crushes, some icons. Dolly Parton for me was a weird one for me, but apparently it's normal, which is fine. And Mariah Carey. One thing I forgot to ask you though, Kendra, was the other celeb, the other icon crushes. Who's at that wine night with you?
Probably Janet Jackson, who we featured on the show. Very surprised she was like not picked right out of the gate. She's someone I feel like is very iconic for a crush, especially because I mean, from the 70s, 80s, 90s. Pick your flavor of Janet. Right. Other icons, I mean, Elton John. I think he would be fun. He'd be fun at a wine night.
I could see Elton at a wine night. That'd be fun.
She's new to the scene, but I think she's gonna be she is already on her way to be an icon. Taylor Swift. Because, I mean, her history, that's going to be good gossip.
Honestly, I could only imagine listening there, just sitting in the background and fly on the wall, having Taylor Swift and Elton John just tell stories back and forth. That would be, and then watching their creative minds go to work, just writing songs, that I could see that'd be crazy.
They would just leave me out and start singing. I'd be sitting there like, all right, this is cool. This is wine.
Pass you the microphone, like, no, I'm good. You keep going. Just roll with it.
Yeah, no, you don't want that unless it's Limp Bizkit. Like,
Oh, sure, yeah. That's an artist I haven't listened to in a while. I'm gonna have to put them on. That's uh, I was a huge Limp Bizkit fan. I actually went out and I bought my first baseball hat. Was I think like a Cleveland Reds hat, because it was the only solid red hat I could find that had the straight back on it. Like, hey, we're gonna roll with this.
rolling.
I mean, and looking back at it, it's kind of funny to think back, like when we were younger, the different ways we kind of personified ourselves, and even like some of the crushes that we had, back in the day. So I'm going to challenge you to, we had wine night with you with 3 of your crushes, just hanging out for a wine night. I'm going to let you try to guess 3 of my crushes just off the top of your head, knowing that kind of that millennial range, the Gen X millennial, kind of floating in that ballpark there. I'm gonna let you kind of guess who you think who my 3 might be. It might not be the top 3, but it's just 3 of them.
For every millennial man, straight?
Yes.
Hetero? Okay. Well, see, that makes a difference. But I think every hetero male in the 90s, a millennial, loved Kelly Kapowski, Topanga Lawrence from Boy Meets World, and the Pink Power Ranger Kimberly. Those are the top 3 always mentioned to me for someone.
Yep. Yeah. So Kelly Kapowski for me, she's up there. To me, I was a big Saved by the Bell fan, but I watched it more for Zach and Screech than which is like, I don't know. Slater was all right, but I watched it more for Zach and Screech. So, but I can appreciate Kelly Kapowski. Not gonna lie, Boy Meets World. So I watched Saved by the Bell every morning before I went to school. As the theme song's playing, I was like, oh, I actually got to get to school now. I'm gonna be late. There goes my bus. So, but after school, it was always Boy Meets World, and Topanga Lawrence. She started off as that weird, quirky girl, and then she grew up into that, that '90s babe that everybody, she's one. And it was kind of fun revisiting some of these crushes there, because you see them now coming back up in current, pop culture. With Girl Meets World that came out, they brought back the original, Corey and Topanga both came back in. And so I got to relive that show with my girls, because I got 3 girls of my own. And, it had some good messages. It wasn't as good as the original, but, most sequels aren't.
They messed up the best couple, which is Sean and Angela. I hated them pushing him with that random woman. But yeah, that was like my only with it. But it was fine. It was cute. I feel like it really could have. It should have went to ABC. I don't think it should have been on the Disney Channel. They could have done more, or ABC Family, or whatever it's called.
Well, I think they could have tackled kind of more serious issues. If you look back at Boy Meets World, they hit home on a lot of those issues that they were real life issues, and I think that's why the show resonated. But yeah, so Topanga Lawrence, she's up there definitely, and then the Pink Power Ranger Kimberly, Amy Jo Johnson. There's an old movie, I believe it was Susie Q.
Oh, so good, underrated.
I was like, okay, I enjoy the Pink Power. I was a Power Rangers fan, had all the action figures and that. And my mom was a huge nostalgia, 50s, 60s style movie, not like movies from the 50s and 60s, but movies that were set in that time frame. And Susie Q, that kind of set in that place. And that's where I first really appreciated her. Like, ooh, she can act. She's not just a Power Ranger; she's more than that. And now looking back at her, she appeared in the newer Power Rangers movie. She had a little cameo at the back end. Very exciting. With Tommy Oliver back then, Jason David Frank, who sadly just passed by this last year. I don't know if you caught that at all, but
of course, I'm a huge Power Ranger fan. Yeah, Mighty Morphin. We don't go past that.
I would say up until about their first movie. With
the second for me. The second was horrible, trash.
Yeah. Once they started getting rid of some of the originals, even though they tried bringing back, the original guys, it wasn't the same. But so I found out I used to work at a college, and there's a college in Iowa that had some really surprisingly gifted athletes come through. Like one of them was Bruce Jenner, came through. He ran track there, and the other one that was, I believe he was a gymnast, was Billy Yost, who was the original Blue Power Ranger. He went to school in Southern Iowa, so I was like, oh. I've been through there. I know the school, but yeah. No, yeah. So I would say I'm going to give you 3 out of 3 on that. I would say Kelly Kapowski is up there. Is she's probably top 10. And yeah, that's pretty good. I like it.
It's one of those things that you hear crushes all the time. You're gonna start to like collect where they group and see. And I am a millennial, so I know that the most. You ask me Gen Z, I don't even know who's popular now. So
honestly, so as a comedy hypnotist, I go around and there's a bit that I'll do occasionally where I do celebrity kissing competition, and they can pick any celebrity, real, make believe, doesn't matter. Actually, I should tag you in a few clips of my shows from it, because there's some weird ones that'll come out, and I say, hey, for $100,000 and a lunch date with your celebrity, who's going to help you win this kissing comp? And we'll go down the line. I get some weird ones. I've had Batman more times than I thought I would. Cartoon Batman, not real ones.
Understood.
And I had Betty White is a very popular one. And obviously Ryan Reynolds is there. I think he's every guy's crush, whether they like to admit or not. He's up there.
Yeah, he's like the biggest. I would say him, and he kind of battles Ryan Gosling.
Really? See, Gosling, I don't think Gosling's name has ever come up in one of my shows, which surprises me. Yeah,
because he's going to be 10. So in the Barbie movie with them abs.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's funny because Margot Robbie, she appears in my show quite a bit as far as one that they want. But yeah, I think for millennials, Harry Styles is up there. Taylor Swift has been there. Selena Gomez. But
yeah, those are kind of like the Gen Z. Shawn Mendes is. I mean, Shawn Mendes. Yes.
Oh yeah. Nice. Perfect. So let's take it back into the 90s. Okay. I want you to come up with a song when you first kind of like pop culture wise, you started kind of realizing like, hey, I enjoy talking about this. And I could talk about pop culture all day. When that kind of, when things kind of clicked for you, so I'm assuming it was like one of those days you were just sitting around and you were talking like, I talk a lot about this. You come to that realization. Come up with a song that if we were watching that moment happen, that click over, what song would be playing in the background, or what song kind of comes to mind when you think that?
I'd probably say, I don't know who sings it, but it's There She Goes. It's like, there she goes. It's like, it's just it's a very good song in movies. Just when it's like something happens, you don't need words. It's just like that kind of like you think of Doug, like when he sees Patty, that it kind of has that same feel like of discovery.
So that was by Nico and the Underground Velvets, according to the powers of Google. So that's a good one. That's a really good song, and I think it fits perfect. That's it, especially the way you kind of explain it. You bring back the Doug reference, and I was upset when they remade that one. I thought there's some things that are perfect, just needs to be left alone. But
Disney had to take it and just. I have a problem with it because in the first episode of the Disney version, he goes to see, I believe, Connie, and she is drawn slimmer, and she's like, "Oh, I was at a camp," and that's a very bad message. Disney, shame on you.
Some of those things that they try to put in there, it's like, why, guys? Come on. But yeah, for right now, we're gonna throw out Nico and the Underground Velvets with There She Goes. Go ahead and give it a listen, and pop back on for some more pop culture, more crush talk. All right, we are back with Kendra. We just listened to the Nico and the Velvet Undergrounds. There She Goes. And now we're back. We're going to segue in. We brought up Doug and Patty, and we're going to jump in because there's some iconic romances / crushes that have happened over the years in cartoons. And I think we're going to talk a little bit about that. So obviously Doug and Patty, behind the scenes, little pull the curtain back for it. We did mention little Hey Arnold action there with Helga. Is it Helga, right?
Helga, yeah, she had the big shrine, creepy with Arnold.
Yep. And there's been a lot of different ones, and I think it's kind of fun watching just the way the different animators kind of push that out there, and how we get to see the crushes develop. So the one that came to mind when we started kind of talking about this behind the scenes was Simba and Nala.
Yeah, that one, people, it's not just a good couple that people like and a good romance. People actually really crush on Nala and
Yeah.
Simba.
Yep.
We do one of the categories we have on Crushgasm is your sexual awakening crush. So that's the crush that kind of made you feel those special feelings for the first
Okay.
time. And if you look at any list on BuzzFeed, that scene with Nala gets mentioned way more often than like you would. Yeah.
I,
So I can tell, I get it kind of. It's a sensual
yeah.
moment, but they are lions. But I've had my share of crushes on Disney animals as well. So
Right.
I understand.
Well, I can see that. I mean, for starters, you've got Elton John playing in the background, and it's a love song, and that's to me that's the moment where like it just clicks with somebody. Who's like, oh, Nala, okay, I get you. So
Mhm.
I understand. I get it. But yeah, it's one of those. It's fun for me to look back and like realize like, oh, these people, they kind of liked each other like that. Oh, that's different.
And
Um,
Disney just a barrage of crushes. I think that's where, for most people, our first crush probably is animated because we watch cartoons first.
right. Well, which makes a lot of sense. Especially the some of the cartoons that are out there. I mean, Aladdin and Jasmine. How could you not like either of
Oh,
them? Like
mhm.
it just the story alone is something. Um, and seeing how Aladdin works and operates with Abu, it's just to me, I could see that. And then obviously Jasmine with Raj, but no, it's definitely it's interesting to see and kind of put into that perspective that most of our crushes do kind of probably stem from the cartoon realm, and
Mhm.
but it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of the Disney remakes that you
Mm.
kind of like because they're bringing back some of that nostalgia for you, but they do kind of miss the mark on some of them. One that I picked up on that has been a talking point for years in pop culture is Beauty and the Beast and LeFou, Gaston's kind of right hand man.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure if you picked up on it all, but he has a crush on Gaston. Like,
They kind of play around with that in the live action. I sort of fell asleep during that because none of the I think almost 99% of those are trash. But
yeah,
yeah, they tried to make that happen. I thought they were gonna push it further with like their own movie, but I think it got canned.
yeah,
But yeah,
I
but
think you're
that's
in that.
cool because if you're a little kid and you're like, you need to see that too. Crushes
Oh
aren't
yeah,
just male, female, so that's cool. And I
yeah,
think Adventure Time had a same-sex couple in recent years. Steven's Universe is very huge on LGBTQ, so
yep.
kudos.
There's actually, I don't know if you've seen Strange World at all yet. It's a newer Disney movie.
No, I keep no. Oh yeah, no.
So that
Yeah.
movie, the main character in it, well, I guess there's three main characters. It's a family. It's a father, son, and his wife. And the son, there's actually a really cute crush moment in it. The son has, I think, three of his friends roll up. They went out and got these little training cards things, like Pokemon, and the boy has this huge crush on one of his friends, and it's a same-sex crush, and that I believe is the first Disney movie that featured like out in the open a
Mhm.
same-sex romance, and it was kind of cool to see. My daughters, I got to have that talking point with them. They're 9, 7, and 3, and my older ones are like, well, he's a boy and he's a boy. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Love is love. If you love someone, you're
Mhm.
gonna go for it, and if not, then don't crush other people's love for your own malicious intent or whatever it might be. That's just my 2 cents on it. But
That's how my mom pretty much taught me.
yep,
She's like, they just like each other. That's it.
yep,
Like,
that's,
all right, makes sense.
yeah. Nice. So, what are the other cartoon crushes that kind of come up on your podcast? What do you typically? I'm guessing probably Ariel's on there.
We haven't had Ariel, but every week on top of the episode, I do a blog post since I came from writing. I will keep
Yeah.
writing. So I talk about my crush that kind of coincides with the guest crush. So if they pick animated, I'll do animated or,
Okay.
anime or something. Prince Eric, Robin Hood, the Fox is like probably my
Okay.
top 10. Like if
Gotcha.
I had
Yeah.
to list them out. I get a lot of anime and that's not like a genre I know too well, so I always have to research.
Yep.
But That's a big genre for the crushes, and I kind of get it. They're very sensual, the anime characters.
Yeah. Well, it's a different type. It's a different style of animation too. It's
Mhm.
some of it's a
Oh,
little more
and
realistic, and
one of my first episodes was Beast from Beauty and the Beast, but only when he's Beast, not when he's human. Which isn't weird. They thought it was weird, but my mom actually had the same crush when I was little. So
I mean, I guess he's protective, and
Mhm.
you see him grow as a kid. I think there's more for me anyway. I could see it because there's more of a character development, a character arc there. Where at the end of it, like, oh, he's human now, and oh, him and Belle still love each other. That's great. And then as the movie ends, like I
I
think if they,
mean, in reality, I think she would have left him after he turned human. He was not cute.
yeah, no, he just needed a beard or something. They actually Disney just released another live action ish version of Beauty and the
Oh,
Beast. I don't know if you've seen
yeah.
that.
The Josh Groban
Yeah.
yeah, it
Um,
was interesting.
I'm right there. One thing that I really enjoyed with it though,
Yeah,
who played Belle, when
Mhm.
she and this is a spoiler for anyone who's seen it, but this may entice you to go see it. She comes out and she shreds on a guitar, this huge solo,
That was
and
the best part.
yeah, and I mean I probably could have went without the yellow tinted sunglasses, but that's her style. You do you, right? But so her is actually one of my up and coming crushes. Like I think she's gonna crush the game. I found her in a movie called Yes Day that had Jennifer Garner in it and Jenna Ortega, I believe.
Oh, Wednesday, yes.
Yeah, yep. Um, but yeah, that's a phenomenal movie. And then at the end of it, like they want to go see a Her concert. I'm like, I don't know who Her is, and I'm pretty in tune to music. But she killed it in the movie. Her acting is up there, and musically she's perfect. It's awesome. But we're gonna pause on this real quick because I want you to throw out a song for us. Let's kick it cartoon style. Give me any song, cartoon related, Disney related,
Oh,
whatever.
it's Eye to Eye from a Goofy movie. It's
Perfect.
it's Disney's first actual black movie. It's perfect. I mean, it's like a teen movie as well, because I mean, all the princesses are teens, but they're in very
Yep.
problematic situations. So this is like legit, like John Hughes teen movie. I love it.
Yeah, perfect. And honestly, I don't know if there's a soundtrack for a movie that goes harder than that.
I mean,
So I had that soundtrack on cassette back in the day, which dates me a little bit. But then when I actually finally got my first twin disc player, I went out and I bought the CD. That was one of my first 3 CDs I purchased. I got that one and Who Let the Dogs Out, and I think Limp Bizkit was my other one. So it was a weird
wow.
purchase. But yeah, Goofy movie Eye to Eye. That's I don't know if you've heard the rumor mill circulating about the Rock and Roller Coaster down at Disney.
Mm, mm.
So they are Aerosmith, who has had that for like 20 plus years. They're getting rid of it. They are closed for renovations for like the next 2 or 3 months. And people are saying what we need to do is give the millennials, give the Gen X or something to look forward to, and rebrand it as a Powerline in concert live, and
Shut up.
make the whole thing. So like they said, take the roller coaster part, make it Goofy's car, and you hop in and you're on a road trip with Max and Goofy, and at the end of it, you're at a Powerline concert.
I'm that like Fry from freaking Futurama meme. Take my money.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, Eye to Eye Goofy movie. I love it. I went back and I watched some live performances of it, like when they're trying to promote the movie back in late 90s or early 90s, whenever it came out. And the guy who sang Powerline's 2 big songs in it, he killed it live. It sounded just like the soundtrack. So
I always thought if they like really wanted to make money, Bruno Mars could do like the live version now.
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
Kevin Campbell's still alive, but if if he wasn't available, I think Bruno Mars would be a really good power line.
Oh, absolutely. What I would hate to see though, and this is nothing against the artist, I could see them trying like landing like a Justin Timberlake or something, like just like a big name. Like I don't think, I'm not saying Bruno Mars isn't a big name. Bruno would kill it as Powerline.
He's a little smaller than he looks more like Max, but
Right. But honestly, at the end of Eye to Eye, they have the
The perfect cast.
background. Yeah, well, the
Oh, the
background
big
singer.
lady.
Yeah, just vocal wise, like a Jennifer Hudson pairing her up with Bruno, just for that, just a quick cameo. And you can't tell me that Jennifer Hudson wouldn't come out and do that just because.
Well, they do all those Disney lives at the Hollywood Bowl. I'm like, why
Yeah.
haven't you done the like best freaking music one?
Honestly, if they wanted to sell out a concert, just to flex a little bit, they did a Powerline or a Goofy movie soundtrack, like a full Powerline concert, and you could.
I mean, even the song about the possums is fire.
Oh, yeah. Right, Lester's Possum Party. I mean, if you take some artists and you write out a full Powerline set, and the whole show is Powerline, and you can bring out other artists, but have Bruno out there. I mean, you've got Lin-Manuel Miranda pretty much in your back pocket with all the songs he's creating for Disney. Go out and let's make it a full Powerline album and do a concert for it. Disney, if you're listening, let's do that now. I can't fund it.
Our way. The idea.
But for those of you who are ready to kick back and reminisce and take a time machine back to a better time, here's from a Goofy movie, Eye to Eye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are back on Rangers Live, the podcast, and we are going to get away from cartoons for a little bit. We've had a little bit too much fun with that. Saturday morning cartoons are going to have to go on the back burner, but I'm here with Kendra, and we're going to be talking more crushes, and I think we need to segue and go into a little current time just to see, maybe not age us a little bit more than we already have. So talking current crushes, Kendra, what are you thinking right here? Who's currently hot and crushing it for you?
Oh, I am in love with Homelander from Amazon Prime's The Boys. Have you watched that?
I have. It's on my watch list.
Then you won't judge me for my crush, because anyone who has watched it are like, he's a psychopath. How could you love him?
Right. And
But,
I mean, I could definitely see it. I know who you're talking about. I've seen trailers and I've seen memes and all that, but unfortunately, I've got 3 little ones running around, and anytime I sit down to watch it, I'm like, I've heard about this. Maybe we shouldn't watch it right now. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm a pretty open person for parenting, but that's one show I would definitely not let a child watch.
Yeah.
Especially the first episode of season 3 is bananas.
Okay.
Episode, I believe 6 is very interesting. But yeah, him, I think and it's like just him as that character with the blonde hair too, because I've tried to watch, he has another show, and I tried, he doesn't have the hair, it just wasn't the same. It's that Zach Morris bleach blonde like coif. I'm just obsessed, and he's the character, he's a villain, and it's just so good. Nice. He's the villain you love. Well, I love.
I could see that. No, I think if we're talking superheroes, obviously, Marvel's been killing it in the game. But for me, Scarlett Johansson, she always kind of holds that special spot. And I think it's more so her attitude, kind of like on and offset. But I actually, one that I had her for a second there. And it's not Brie Larson. Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay.
She, which is weird because I'm not a huge fan of her movies. I'm not. But her interviews.
Yeah.
It just seeing how she did one interview. We talked about Taylor Swift a little while back. She got a call from Taylor Swift. She was getting ready for an award show, and Taylor said, "Hey, you just want to come hang out at my place? And I'm not going. You should just come hang out." And she did the interview, and half her face had makeup on it, the other half didn't, because she's like, "Yeah, let's do this." So, but it's that she did one with finding the real Jennifer Lawrence, who was responding to people on Quora, and but just her responses, and she just, to me, you hear the behind the scenes like, oh, their drama queens are over the top, like they have to have it their way. She seems like she could be that way. She's got that resting face that I would hate to be caught in that stare. But she's got that attitude where it's just like, I am who I am.
Yeah, I can see that. She's definitely down. She's like a down chick.
Yeah. And which is, it's kind of, it fits with me a little bit. I think she's one of those that I think she'd just be cool to hang out with.
I think so. She seems like she'd go to grab a beer.
Yeah.
Fuss.
Yeah, and she'd ask you if you'd want one, and then you'd ask for a Bud. She'd bring you a Bud Light and laugh about it, like, "Oh, not what you wanted, but I got you." Honestly, I think a current there's I got to tell you, there's one couple that my wife and I we both kind of crush on. And well, I guess there's two. There's Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, but and it's more so for their relationship because he's out there, he does things. He's Ryan Reynolds, and Blake is kind of in the background, and she just kind of takes it and she just laughs and smiles and nods, and which is weird because in any other relationship she'd be the focus of attention.
Yeah.
But now she's pretty down to earth. But the one that I really like is Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard. I think I don't know if the show's still on the air or not, but they had a game show they were hosting together.
Oh.
And they were just they'd play off of each other. They've been on Ellen DeGeneres a few times. And
they're a good couple.
There's one episode where there's one scene there where they're blindfolded and they were trying to guess, like they were giving vague response, like here's what you're going to be eating. It's orange, it's puffy, and they were eating without their hands, and they had to guess what it was. And he was spot on with what he was saying, like feeding her the lines. And then as far as what he had to eat, like I think they're really nice. Where she got like popcorn, he got a plate of ketchup.
Oh,
so it's one of those.
I'm not like puffy orange. I was like a Cheeto.
Oh yeah. And Cheetos was one of them. But yeah, that couple, it's just kind of cool to watch them because Kristen, she kind of came into her own. She had The Good Place.
Oh, so good.
And obviously, being Anna with in Frozen, so she's been busy. And he's a great actor, great comedian, but he kind of took a step back and said, "Hey, you're gonna go out there, you're gonna crush it right now. I'm gonna sit in the back. I'm gonna be a parent, just watch you grow as an actress." And he still does his stuff on the side, but he's not as busy as what he was like. Without a Paddle, I think, was his last big movie.
He had that show Parenthood on NBC. It ran several seasons or so. And he was really, he played like the brother that you're just like, oh,
yep,
he's in trouble again. But that was that Walk So This Is Us could run. So
right, yeah. But no, I don't know. I think they're a good celeb couple too. And what other current crushes you got out there? Anybody big in the music industry? Any athletes? Anything like that kind of come to mind?
Not an athlete. I'm not a sport ball person.
Sure.
If I had to go like music, who do I like right now? It's a forever, but it's the Backstreet Boys. It's always and forever. I used to love Nick Carter the most, but then he had his reality show, and I was like, not even House of Carters with his family. It was his reality show with his wife, where I'm like, this poor woman is taking care of this grown man. So now it's AJ.
Oh, sure. So I was as far as Backstreet Boys, I was always a Brian fan. Which was weird because Brian had a kid that came out, and I think when he was like 14 or 15 years old, his son came out with a country album.
Yeah, they force us to listen to him at their tours. He opens.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I wasn't a big fan of the Suns' music, but Backstreet Boys. Brian, he had some issues. I think it was his larynx or something. He had to basically relearn to talk and sing, and now they're back out touring again. And that's one group I'd love to go see them in concert.
You've never seen?
No.
Oh my God, they had a Vegas residency for years.
I slept on it, which sucks because I'm a huge Backstreet Boys fan. All the way back from their original album out to their newer stuff is all right. I saw Howie. You could someone paid Howie to come out and perform at their wedding. It was I think it was actually like the best man and the father of the bride. They basically surprised them. The DJ said, "Hey, we're gonna play for welcome our couple for their first dance," and then it was like the instrumental version of it. But then in the main entrance, Howie came out with the microphone and was singing it. I was like, "That's cool." I'm not a Howie. I wasn't a huge Howie fan, but watching him as an adult, like I appreciate his insights.
We call him the Dud.
Yeah, every group's got one.
For sure. Every boy band, for sure. And it's wild that they'll still have fans. My best friend, Howie's her favorite.
Really? Well, and
Yeah.
I could see that. For me, I never understood Kevin in the group.
Oh, Kevin's a fine wine. You don't get it when
Oh,
you're little, but now he's aged so beautifully.
I never understood that dynamic. There was a show that came out.
Oh, together.
Yeah, and they broke down like the key ingredients you need for a boy band, and one of them was the older brother type. It's like, oh, that's Kevin. Now I get it. So I understand when they broke it down like that, because I think in that, and I don't know if you knew this, but in that Together the band, Chris Farley's brother was the older brother type, and God, I wish they would have stuck around longer, that show.
Well, the one died. The
Yeah.
baby, he
Yeah,
passed away. But they did do a reunion with 3 of them, or two or three. It was at John Lovett's comedy club at the Universal City Walk many years ago, and it was interesting. And of course, I had to be there.
Oh yeah. Well, that's one of those things like maybe with I think it was QT McKnight is the character, but yeah, that actor, I think if I remember correctly now, he had leukemia.
Yeah.
Which is sad. Personally, I'd if I did a reunion tour or a reunion date, it'd have to be the 4 surviving members, and but yeah, having 2 or maybe 3, that'd be.
I think it was 2 because like the heartthrob Jerry, he was like, I remember he sent a video, and I don't remember seeing Farley, so it just had to been Chad and Mickey Park, the rebel, and the shy guy, which was fine because Mickey Park had the best voice for me, so I was all right, I'm set.
Now Mickey Park, he was they have the song Calculus, U plus B equals us, and he had this ridiculous, I'm gonna go hard, I'm gonna rap on this one. It's like, I remember I had that rap part down packed when I was in high school. I was like, hey, check this out. And none of my friends got it. No one in my school. And it's like, ooh, really? I still liked it though. I could still do it too, which is fun. One of the one group that I am looking forward to, I want to go see them. Did you see, I think it was Nick Carter, AJ, Joey Fatone, and Lance Bass are all getting together now?
I'm in August 2021. I was like, okay, I don't want to get on a plane, but Nick, AJ, Joey, and Wanye from Boyz II Men announced they were doing this kind of Rat Pack boy band thing in Vegas at a small venue, and I was like, COVID be danged, I'm going. So me and my friend went. It was a rough draft of something that could have been wonderful. It was, they sang each other's songs and everything. It's different. But the best part was Wanye from Boyz II Men. I think it was Wanye. He said that he got into singing because of like TV theme songs. So he sang, which is probably my favorite genre of music. So he sang some TV theme songs, which was really cool. Nice. But I mean, seeing Nick and seeing like the Backstreet Boys sing "I'll Make Love to You," I died. Like 12-year-old me was like, I was like, oh my god.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. Now there, Joey. To me, Joey was always kind of the dud of that group.
Like, it's Chris. It's Chris.
Well, see, Chris always kind of stood out as he was, to me, was the rebel, because he had the funky hair and the big goggles he'd wear. Like,
he was just so not my cup of tea.
And see, I always thought like, okay, Joey's like that one friend, like, hey guys, can I come too? I'm like, yeah, come on, Joey. Like, I understood JC and Justin, like, obviously, voices, the charisma. Lance he was that shy, the shy type. He was kind of quiet on the side. He's like
Kevin to me. He got better with age. They just bleached the heck out of that hair back in the day. He looked kind of albino-ish.
Yeah.
So I was like,
his eyes were kind of piercing. One thing that kind of that surprised me about NSYNC though is they only came out with 3 albums.
Yeah,
and like, if they would have, not saying like, don't beat a dead horse, don't keep milking it, like, they did really well with 3 albums, and I think if they would have kept pushing it, they would have fallen off. But yeah, to me, I was always, back in the day, I was a JC fan. I loved JC. I loved his sound. Justin was cool. I mean, Justin was I'm gonna hang out with him, but if I gotta, if I'm gonna be performing, I want to be with JC. And then as I got older, Joey Fatone, just his personality, he's out there. And then even Lance anymore, like, he's he's come out on TikTok. He's kind of opened up and he's been that like kind of weird, fun type. Like personally, if I had to have like a guys' night, if we're going to Dave and Buster's, take me, Joey, and Lance. Like we'll just go hang out. We'll roll some skee ball. We'll tell people, yeah, sorry, it's we got one of those faces. We're not really them. I'd say I'm really Justin Timberlake. This is a mask, just to get people's
some appetizers.
Yeah, grab some wings, roll some skee ball, and call it a night.
Mm-hmm. I love Dave and Buster's.
So, we're gonna throw another song out there, and let's put you at Dave and Buster's, and let's you've been playing a while. You're not sure how many tickets you won. It could be with you and your friends, or you and a celebrity, or you and your crush. It could be whoever. You all pile your tickets together, and you realize you have enough tickets to win the big prize, to go get that big prize. First off, I want to know what ridiculous big prize you'd want to win, because we all know those things are a little inflated. But let me know what that is. And when you realize that those tickets all added up, what song do you like playing in your back? Like obviously, Queen, "We Are the Champions" might be one just kind of ringing out, but it could be any song that you realize, hey, I can get the big prize now.
Probably "Hallelujah."
Okay.
And the prize, I always eyed like a boombox back in the day. I was like,
okay,
wow, that is the coolest.
So I got to ask you, what version of "Hallelujah" would you go with?
I don't know if it's on Spotify. I was obsessed with American Idol season 7, and Jason Castro's version is my favorite. Okay. But if you have just the original, that's fine. There's no bad version, unless, I mean, there is, but.
Have you heard the Pentatonix version of "Hallelujah"?
I'm sure it's wonderful. I've never heard it, but I've heard their music, and they're doing crazy stuff. So
I'm a Leonard Cohen. He's a big fan. Actually, I was playing the song at one of my I DJ weddings occasionally, and it was a family wedding, and my kids were there, and I played that song for dinner music, and they looked at me and said, "Dad, why are you playing Shrek's music?" Like easy, like it's featured in Shrek. It's one song there, but yeah, the Pentatonix. So if I can't find Jason Castro's version, we're gonna go ahead. We'll play Pentatonix, and if I have Jason Castro's version, we're gonna play it right now. If you're on YouTube, you're in for a treat, because I'm gonna put both up there in the description. Make sure you click on it, and if not, just we're gonna be surprised on Spotify. See what I pick for you. But here is "Hallelujah." Just imagine yourself winning that big boombox with all those tickets.
Yes.
And we are getting ready to wrap things up with Kendra here. Tell us one more time about Crushgasm, your podcast. Let us know where we can find it and where we can listen to some more awesome talk about this nostalgic days.
Well, you can find Crushgasm at crushgasmpodcast.com. We have guests come through and they talk about all different types. I don't think every episode's for everyone, but if it's middle school and you're feeling nostalgic about that awkward time, check out Rachel McIntyre Smith's episode. She has an amazing story about, she was like a type A child and her crush was a skater boy. And she tried to impress them with a Walmart skateboard, and it's just wonderful stories. But also coming up, we have Crushing on the 90s, which every year the 90s is going to be talked about. And we talk about everything from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie to Hanson's Mbop. So it's like everything in it, it's all there. Mostly. I couldn't cover everything. We'll do a part 2.
Yeah. I mean, it is a full decade, so I get it. So we're going to leave with one final song. And you hit on something here, so I want to see which direction you go with. You hit the skater boy, so I'm gonna have you we're gonna dig into one little conspiracy theory about Avril Lavigne. I'm sure you've probably heard it.
Oh, I love a conspiracy theory.
Yep. So Avril Lavigne may or may not be the same one from Skater Boy as she is now. But I want you to throw a song out there that when you're digging in, when you get into that weird part of the internet, those wormholes, Katy Perry might be Jean-Benet Ramsey, Avril Lavigne might not be the same person, Elvis is still alive. Like when you get into those weird conspiracy theories, start digging. Give me a song that would that would fit the mood there.
I'd probably go with Super Freak.
The Rick James?
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. I can see you sitting there just kind of bopping out to that bass line.
You're like, is J-Lo an industry plant? Maybe.
Right. Did she really take out that big of an insurance plan?
She shouldn't have, but okay.
Right. I love it. So we're going to end with Rick James, Super Freak. Go dive into some conspiracy theories. And if you don't want to do that, there's this awesome podcast you should probably go check out right now. It's called Crushgasm with an awesome host. And make sure you follow along for the journey. They're taking a time machine back to the 90s, so make sure you do that. But before we go, one last song for us, Rick James, Super Freak. All right, that's going to do it for us here at Rangers Live, the podcast. Kendra, thank you so much for joining me. I had a great time. You got me thinking about the past and current crushes too. And you shine the light on the industry, so I appreciate it. Kendra, thank you so much. Make sure you guys check out Crushgasm, and until next time, we'll see you later.
That's a wrap for this episode of Randrews Live, the podcast. We hope you had as much fun listening as we did making it. Thanks for tuning in on this journey through the music and stories. Don't forget to hit subscribe and find us on all social media platforms at Randrews Live. From there, you can stay up to date on all the latest episodes. And if you have any comments, questions, or ideas for future episodes, hit us up. We love hearing from our listeners. Until next time, keep on rocking, and we'll see you soon.